Hey folks, we're back and we're waiting for the cast. They haven't got here yet. But what time is it?
3:55.
3:55. Got 5 minutes.
57. 3 minutes.
We have 3 minutes. 3 minutes and counting. So we're waiting. So we'll tweet this out. Share. And there. Post.
Got a bag in the bag.
Right there. So.
That's true. No, dude, I have nothing. My dad.
We have the full cast and the producers. Alex Kurtzman is going to be here, and sitting next to Sonequa Martin Green, right in front of us, and Doug Jones and Jay Frain, Mary Wiseman, and Anthony Pop has his name written, handwritten. See that? Ta-da! And that is Shazad. Latif. It is not Shia LaBeouf. No.
This guy right here.
Yes. Point again, please.
Right here.
Thank you. Yes.
We're high tech.
Yes, we are. We're definitely 21st century, not 20th. Sorry, 20th century media. But hey.
When it's time to do, you make do.
That's right. That's right. So, I got Jessica here. Say hi.
Hi.
And I got Kay here. Say hi. Yeah. And I'm in a hole. A very deep hole.
We haven't let him out of it yet.
Not at all. No. It's like 20 feet down. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll explain later. Actually, you know what? If you watch the previous live stream, you'll get it, okay?
Right. It hasn't gotten better since.
Depends on your point of view.
See, let it be known. Let it be known. The doctor does smile.
Oh my gosh.
See, he does.
Oh.
He does smile. My husband doesn't think he does.
Oh.
But he does.
Her husband's got a picture. Show that. Can you show that?
Oh, that was something I posted, and
gotta
he decided to make a
see
comment.
this. It's kind of. Well, I think it's. Well, you'll see. Okay.
Don't
Yeah. This is right. Yeah. Thank you. See that?
There's glare, man.
Oh, it'll oh, like that.
Oh wait.
There
There it is.
There it is.
There. Look at Peter
That's
Cavalli's
funny.
face. He just has
hilarious.
rusting grump face. That's just his face, and I like it. I like his face.
Natural rusting grump face. So yeah.
Resting grump face.
All right.
That's
So
just all it is.
I am mindful that all of you are not aware that I am on now. I have a problem with YouTube notifications too. They are, yeah. It's like not. It doesn't treat me properly at all. So my viewers point that out. I didn't get a notification. Oh boy. Did you? You know. Streaming. Got it. Cool. So you won't miss a minute. You'll have the cast coming right up here. Boom. Hey, I got 2 viewers. Ooh.
And they're late. Actually, 4:01.
Oh, 401?
4:01.
They're late, folks. Just if you're keeping score, they're late.
Are they late?
They're late. Yeah. Been informed that they're late. It's supposed to start at 4. It's 4:01.
Unacceptable.
Yeah, right. It's 4:02 now, right? Because you said it was 4:01:36. Really?
Right at. I said it right at the 4:01 crossover. Up there.
Oh,
now
yeah,
it's
I see.
4:02.
Yeah, see? See? I got her.
On Comic-Con time, it's like 30 minutes early.
That's right.
Another scene.
Let's see. What?
This is
Another
right
song.
now. Right now, he's here and he's smiling and glare.
You see that glare? Yeah.
There it is.
Woohoo.
Aww. And he's got a nice suit on too.
Yeah. It's just trying to match up, you know, those kissy things, you know, you know those.
The kissy thing.
Dig that
It's
hole.
just like-
Dig that hole.
We
No.
gotta match up the kissy thing.
So in business, they have these little devices that, you know, you click them together and they trade information. I call them, they're designed like people. You never seen those before?
I just am focusing on the kissy thing.
I don't
That's
know
my
what.
choice right
I'm
now.
trying to figure that out.
You have to, they're shaped like little fish with lips. And you make them touch like this.
You touch the lips, huh?
This goes back to,
The fishy lips.
all right, below this, I'm going to post the video to where I found out about them. It was at a tech event. This was in 2008. So, yeah. And they've since gone out of business, probably for obvious reasons. Wait a minute, we got a chase here. Ta-da. We just had a chase, folks. We just had a chase. Hold on a second. Mayhem ensues. This is
Written part
fun.
is gone.
This is like, whoa. I saw that. Did you see that?
I saw that.
What did you see?
I said handwritten part is gone.
Oh, yeah. See, she saw that. The hole gets deeper.
Touching the kissy lips. I see.
That's true, though. It's like this. It's like this device that it's like a USB thing, right? But you trade business information. It's like they touch.
Oh, that is
Is it
awesome.
just the tips?
Check that
It's
out.
just the tips.
Oh man.
Yes, it was
That's
just the
cool.
tips. Oh, I'm never. All right.
How to run over. Has everybody seen the trailer that released online? Hopefully you guys checked your email. Should have come.
Yes.
Go to our YouTube page, you'll see it. We just released a new trailer. We're going to be bringing cast in. Mr. Jason Isaacs is in a wedding in Los Angeles, so he may have to dip out early. You guys can all respect traffic. Everyone's knowing that. All right, we've got Akiva, one of our executive producers. Akiva, you're going to go to the far end. Executive producer, Kadin. She can help really fast. We've got executive producer Aaron Harberts. Well, he's not here yet. This is Gretchen Berg, executive producer Gretchen Berg. James Frain, who plays Sarah. Executive Doug Jones, who plays Lieutenant Saru. We have Wiseman. Come on in. Sonequa Green. Shazad Latif. Anthony Rapp. Our lovely moderator, Rain Wilson, who plays Harry Mudd. And also Jason Isaacs, who, like I said, we need to leave early for a wedding, so we're putting him on the end. Alright, if everyone can take their seat, ignore the placards, it's okay. Yes. Alex Kurtzman too. So nice to give Alex, I think Alex and Heather introduced together. There is one mic, I'm holding it. If you have a question, please raise your hand, we will get you the mic. So we leave the floor to you guys. If I can get a hand raised for a question. Alright, way in the back. You're making me walk. I've been running all day, so that's okay.
How's everyone doing today? Good. I'm curious, already, you guys have been filming for a little while. When you already, is there a day or two that has really floored you about the making of this show, like memorable moments from filming, something you can share for the fans?
There was a moment, like my second or third day, where you can kind of see it in the trailer, where like a bunch of us like ripped down a hallway. And I remember Akiva was directing it at one point. He was like, "Okay, now we're gonna run," and I was like, "Great, just like gonna run." And then I didn't realize that it would be like 6 hours of like running at a dead sprint. And I was like, "Oh no, I'm ready." And I remember Sonequa at one point turning and being like, "Do you guys need to go faster? I could go faster." And I was like, "Shut up." And that's when I realized like what I was in for. Like, this is a real thing. I'm really gonna go for it. We were slipping and sliding.
So what the press corps has come away with is that you are out of shape.
Okay, stop me someone if I can't say this, but there was a scene in which I was with a large group of Vulcans who were dressed, and the costume design for the Vulcans in this is phenomenal. They were all dressed to the nines. It was incredibly stylish. It was like being in the best club ever, except for there was no music, people didn't talk to each other. But it was a moment of just full Vulcanness that felt fantastic.
Yes, I'm sorry. I grew up with Star Trek: The Next Generation. I'm so psyched about this new show. And because of that, I'm also stoked that I heard that Commander Riker is involved with this
He's
project.
directing us right now.
Yeah,
He's waiting for us to get back and stop working again on Monday morning.
All right, can you talk a bit about his involvement and what the episode's about, what not, if you can share?
What the episode's about.
Sure. We just email you the script, that's what it does.
We do love him.
He's still an actor. He's a fantastic director, but he makes the set his stand-up comedy club. And he's at the end of every take he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, the Star Trek Discovery players." As much as he's very, very up-tempo and funny and can barely be contained, it's hard to stop him singing all the time. He's also very finely attuned to the nuances of what the actors are doing. He directs like an actor, he really understands it. So it's a joy to have him on. He's full of completely unrepeatable, scurrilous stories about what they did. Although there's one great story, wasn't it something when he went to the first convention he went to, and they had all the dolls of the other characters, and there were, there was a Picard that was, $20, and there was Jodie that was $15, and then at the end it said, "Free Riker with every doll." He's very funny, and he's a wonderful director.
Hi, hello, my name is Scott Vance.
Hi, Scott.
I'm a massive fan since I was 6 years old, and I recited the Constitution from the Omega Glory. We all know that episode. I'm so happy.
Oh, Jesus.
Fans working on the show who really get Star Trek. So, because you're all fans, I have to ask, what was it like when you all walked on the sets, walked on the bridge of the Discovery, and Jason, hopefully it's Sonequa, sat in the chair?
Well, I'm sorry. I know I'm just a mere supporting character in this universe, but I'll say that for me, I grew up watching the original series. At age 5 or 6, I started watching it. It was on reruns after school. I built models of the Enterprise. I had books on. I had the Enterprise memorized, like where the dorms were and where everything was in the ship. I've forgotten all that now, but to go on the ship, and then I got to, in my episode, without giving anything away, I did get to use the transporter room. I got to be transported, and I got to use a phaser, and I got to sit in the captain's chair a little bit. So, just iconic creations from Gene Roddenberry and his original staff, and to get to relive those as an adult fan was just one of the greatest life experiences.
They've been releasing these little images of the props recently in the museum and everything, and it's like you can see how much incredible detail and care and love have gone into it, and that's the truth. And yeah, the first time I was handed a phaser, I felt like my head was going to explode.
I was actually invited in to sit in the captain's chair early on in the pilot episode because I ranked 3rd in command on the bridge on the Starship Shinjo. And so when First Officer Michael Burnham and our Captain Giorgio, played by the lovely Michelle Yeoh, when they would have a conference off in the captain's ready room, I was the next one to sit in the chair. So that happened early on and fast, and I wasn't expecting it. So I'm like, I get to put my ass in that. So it's a small ass, I didn't live it down.
Yeah, the moment I got time.
I have to stop talking about my ass today.
It is really small.
Great. We love it.
Thank you.
I don't mean to be positive, but it's true that it's incredible 8-year-old fun to stay energized to the point of phase, or to sit in the chair, although I try to avoid sitting in the chair as much as possible. The bridge may be the place where all the action happens, but it's where a bunch of people sit still or stand still. So I try and help the directors out by running down and staring at the screen, because I like to be at the front where the action is, directing like a conductor. as the captain. But actually, none of that matters to me. I could go and play laser tag at Ultra Phaser, and I could go to the pop-up museum and sit in the chair. I'm running out of here in 20 seconds to go to my friend who's marrying his long-term boyfriend, and the stories, the original stories in the 60s, were told at a time of enormous turmoil in the civil rights movement, and we're holding up a vision of the future. And Gene Roddenberry created a vision of the future where people have found a solution to the divisions between people at a time when the outside world seems to be getting more divisive and rolling back a bunch of things we take for granted. So for me, the gadgets are fun and the sets are great, and I'm sure we have all the whiz-bang stuff you would wish for, but what counts is what we're putting out there. What we're showing the next generation of what we could become as a planet instead of what we might become. And that's what I love about it. And with that, I'm actually leaving for my friend's wedding, so thank you very much. I love you all. You guys I like, I don't know you, but you guys I love.
Finally, he's gone now.
I'm Lizette with Black Girl Nerds. So my question is Sonequa. I just happened to be walking through the convention center at one point, and I saw Michelle Nichols. And I knew I was going to be here today, and I couldn't help but think, this is like passing the baton in a lot of ways, because I always wanted to see her take command at some point, which she did in the animated series. Because she was in line to sit in that chair. So you're first officer, playing first officer, and so proud of you. So I just want to say that. Now, what's it like to, I mean, that's a lot of hope going your way from our community in particular. So how's that feel?
First of all, thank you for what you do and for what you said. I certainly stand on Michelle's shoulders. I think all of us stand on the shoulders of the innovation that has been in the Star Trek canon up to now. All of the progression and how this is really a story of universality, and this is a story of coming together and understanding that you really are one with all life. And I don't know if I can put it into words, honestly. I feel that if I try, I would cry, and it would get really messy up here. But just the honor and it's such a privilege to be a part of a story that I truly believe is gonna bring people together.
For Alex and the producers, there's been 50 years of different iterations of Star Trek and something to love in every version. For you guys, what elements did you want to include to keep it classic Trek, and in what ways did you want to go where no Trek has gone before?
Well, I think first and foremost, the defining factor of Roddenberry's vision is the optimistic view of the future, and the idea that he envisioned a world where all species, all races came together not only to make our world better, but to make every world better. I think that that's something that can never be lost in Trek. I think once you lose that, you lose the essence of what Star Trek is. That being said, and I know this has been touched on today at different points, but we live in very troubled times. And every day we look at the news and it's hard. It's hard to see what we see. And I think that now more than ever, Trek is needed as a reminder and a buoy for what we can be, the best of who we can be. And I think that the idea of taking that dramatic content, again, as was said today, Star Trek has always been a mirror to the time in which it reflected. And right now, the idea that the question of how you preserve and protect what Starfleet is in the wake of a challenge like war, and the things that must be done in war, is a very interesting and dramatic problem. and feels like a very topical one given the world that we live in now. So that is what we are always trying to maintain, but again, the optimism is the thing that we must hold on to as the torch for Roddenberry's vision and for the future of Trek.
This question is for Sonequa. What was it like transitioning for you from a show like The Walking Dead, that's very dirty and gritty, to a completely different aesthetic like Star Trek?
Thank you for that question. I feel that storytelling is such a champion in our world, in our society, and it does so much for us. It shapes us and changes us and enlightens us. And so I think that, I just thank God that I was able to go from a show where the storytelling is so rich and so dynamic to another show where the storytelling is so rich and so dynamic, and there's such a stellar group of people here, and everyone else that isn't here that we stand and represent for you. I feel that all stories are gritty, all high quality stories are gritty, because life is gritty, and so in that way I don't see that much difference. It's a different backdrop for sure, but I think the complexities of the story, the dynamics of the relationships, I think honestly there's an idea that one of my favorites that we explore on this show, which is acculturation, and how when that happens it doesn't have to mean assimilation, and that's really one of the pillars I think of Star Trek and what it teaches, is that we don't have to let go of who we are in order to learn who you are. We can do it at the same time, and I think that's touched on a lot on Walking Dead, and it's touched on here, and it's touched on here in such a unique way, in a way we haven't seen before, and in a way that I think honors the legacy, but also carries it to the next level.
I have a two-part question. How many episodes have been completed? And have you all been optioned for the major motion picture?
We've completed 10. Is 10 almost done? Yeah, almost done. Which puts us 2/3 of the way through this first season, which we're kind of, it's the milestone. Milestone being everything. And motion picture, anybody?
I like how you think.
Is that thing coming up here?
I guess it's me. Hi, Dan Rasmus with GeekWire. In a post-Star Wars world, we kind of forget that Star Trek innovated a lot of the special effects technology. Have you guys pushed anything to the limit that has challenged the current technology that we assume is so wonderful, but I know it's still evolving?
I think that there were a lot of questions about why we delayed, and the answer is because we knew we were going to push the technology to a place that took time. It just takes time to build a world. It takes time to build a world right. It takes time to hire the right people who understand how to take what's on the script and turn it into something that looks amazing. And the line between film and television these days is blurry. It's non-existent now. So the show has to look like a movie, really, especially if especially again if we're asking people to pay for it. It has to define itself and distinguish itself. So it takes a good year to launch a show correctly when you factor in set builds, visual effects, and if you rush those things, you're compromising quality. So we hope to be innovating as much as possible. I certainly think we're pushing the boundaries for television in terms of creating CG environments and a lot of sequences. You'll see a sequence in the first episode that takes place entirely in space with her, and you get little pieces of it in what you saw today, but those are massive sequences to pull off. It's not even just the shooting time; it's the render time for the CG. To do that right takes months and months and months, and refinement after refinement. So we didn't want to do the bad version of this show. We'd rather take the hit for why are they taking so long than actually deliver you something faster that you can hate. So.
This question could be for any number of you guys. Being on Star Trek means that you are an automatic part of a legacy. What does it mean now to essentially know that you guys are about to become icons? Thank you, I'll sit down and listen.
I mean, watching what's come before us has been so profoundly inspiring, and to see, yeah, I believe that Leonard Nimoy is an icon, not just because he plays this character, but because he was an incredible actor bringing this character to life and showing us all the layers and depths of this character's life. So if we do become icons, if that's true, which would be probably weird and cool, but that I hope that's because we're standing on the shoulders of what's come before us and the incredible depths of the work that's come before us.
I think we are acutely aware of the legacy of the show, and what is unique about this, dare I say, enterprise, is there's so much love for the history that comes before us. This is, we talked before about how Star Trek is about family, that the creation of this version of Star Trek has also become about family. And that seems fitting and correct, because unlike virtually anything I've ever been a part of, there is no whimsy to anybody's commitment. There is an awareness and a pride in getting to be the next sort of holder of this baton as we pass it down the road. So it is a pretty startling privilege, which I think none of us take lightly.
I'm Andrew Fish with American Cinematographer. It's a question for Alex and the producers. What were some of the visual techniques used by cinematographer Guillermo Navarro on the pilot and carried on by the other DPs to create the look of the show, and what were some of the visual priorities the cinematographers were tasked with?
David Semmel did a great job with the pilot. We talked a lot about how to shoot the bridge in an interesting way, and not to just shoot it sort of in a proscenium box, but actually to allow the camera to be extremely fluid and dynamic, and to be able to get the camera into spaces where just to shoot it in interesting ways, which is a combination of choreographing the scenes to motivate the camera to move, and also lighting. I'm personally not a fan of real high-key lighting on a bridge, and so figuring out a way to contour the lighting so that it felt more cinematic, and yet you don't want to kind of doing this, like looking, squinting your eyes to see what's happening. So a very cinematic look across the board. And Guillermo, obviously, who's just a genius, he literally built some equipment to be able to move the camera in new ways on the bridge. And then we built sets. I remember hearing about the West Wing set and how the set was built specifically so the Steadicam could just they could walk around and do all those walking and talking scenes, and very similar for the bridge here. For the ship itself, is longer hallways and just being able to hold longer tracking shots. And Guillermo really set a tone and a look for the rest of it. But again, as I said, the line between film and television is so blurry that it just has to look like a movie, and we had to organize around that approach.
Hi, I'm Calla Cofield with Newsarama. So one of the things that we obviously love so much about Star Trek is all of the cool technology concepts that it introduced. I mean, you guys talked about the transporter room and the phasers. Because this is taking place in the past, are you going to be able to introduce new things, particularly in the technology realm? Is there any room to play around in there?
Interesting. I can't spoil why, but I'm a scientist with a weird field of study, which is astromycology, and that has some interesting applications in science of Star Trek. I'm allowed to say that? Yeah. So yes, there are some new things explored that are because of space upwards and mushrooms and mycelium. Believe it or not, it's true.
Hi, I'm Mario CK from Mexico, and I'm very happy that Guillermo Navarro is working in the project. Two questions for both Mr. Goldsman and Mr. Kurtzman about the storytelling, how you're going to tell the story, because I remember last year there was this saying about it's going to be kind of Game of Thrones narration. And the other thing is about, I love Star Trek all my life, but in Latino countries, especially Mexico, is not a country that embraces the new generation. So how are we going to appeal to the Latinos in the show?
That's a good one. Well, go ahead.
I think something that, I'll do the second one first. I think that what we are committed to is a real fractal version of the universe. That diversity has become too easy a word. We're committed to complexity and the differences in cultures and the differences in biology and in preference and inclusion. These were what Star Trek, these were the principles that Star Trek was founded upon. So we chase those. We chase the idea that our arms are as wide as arms can be, and that the show's job is being nominated in mission, see the way they had you prize before, right? The show's mission is to be inclusive. So we're very, very purposeful about that, and I think you will see as we move forward that that's by no means an accident. It's very intentional, and the storytelling question is simply that we've gotten a chance to do something pretty unprecedented in Star Trek, which is just to be serialized. The fact is, you know, as Alex says, movies and TV, not only have they blurred, they've almost inverted now. You know, movies have become episodic. They were what I used to watch as television. It's the Dick Van Dyke Show. It's another day with the same set of characters. And television has become long form. It has become a deep, extended, complex narrative. So what we get to do, because the culture of television watching no longer requires episodic reset, is to take characters on journeys in the same way that the ship took journeys over the course of the original series. And for those of us who type, that's kind of a dilemma.
All right, we have time for 2 more questions.
I'm Tom Barter from CreativeMySpace.net, and this is for James.
This is comical.
What's it like playing already established, well-loved characters, and more importantly, will there be tribbles?
Will there be what?
Will there be tribbles?
I think
fuzzy little tribbles?
I think there's a tribble there somewhere right there. I can't speak to the tribble.
Yes, tribbles, yes.
It feels that it's an honor, it's a responsibility, it's a challenge, but I think it's something, you know, that the writers create the character, and so you know, we deliver a version of what they do, but I think what the writers are doing with this character and really with all the storylines is so interesting and so complex and so revealing that it's just a joy to work on. So I don't feel troubled too much by that, except when people ask me that question, I go, oh, I should probably trouble. But I'm having too much of a good time.
Yeah, incredible to play Harry Mudd. You know, like I said, I grew up watching the show, and you know, let's remember this particular universe is a very dark time for the Federation and for Starfleet with this war happening. So I don't think it would be appropriate in the universe, talk to the writers about this, to have as many kind of jolly wackadoodle episodes that were often in the original series in the Next Generation, because, and that's one of the wonderful things about Star Trek is that you could have some episodes that were almost comedies. And this Harry Mudd is kind of a reimagining, a reinvention, in the same way that so many things have been reimagined and reinvented. He's a bit more dastardly than the original, but that character made such an impression on me, and just a dream come true to try and bring him to life with as much drama and comedy as possible rolled into one.
And this will be the last question. Janona. Sam from the Trekkie Girls reporting from Trekcore. There's been such a backlash against women and diversity in science fiction at the moment. Thank you all for speaking out against it. How do you foresee Star Trek Discovery pushing boundaries and upsetting these people further, please?
I don't know if you were in the panel or not, but you actually do see me as the first openly gay character on Star Trek having a relationship, so that's one thing that'll push the boundaries a little bit more. Wilson Cruz will be playing my partner on the show. That's one. What else?
I think it's because we do it so boldly. If I hear something, right? We do it so boldly, but it's also so seamless because it's so organic, which makes it authentic, right? So I think the celebration of it is in that it is normalcy in this story, and in that way, the story becomes it becomes a form of activism, just by being, and not being afraid of it, and seeing these people deal with each other and learn from each other and be changed by each other. And I think it's just going to do what we hope that it will do, and continue the conversation and enlighten if it will. We hope so.
Do you know obviously about the Bechdel test?
Yeah.
The Bechdel test. For those of you who don't know, how many times have you seen a television show or a movie in which two women come together and are talking about a guy? I'm not sure they ever talk about guys when the women are together in this show. Not because we're trying to make a statement or not make a statement, but that's just not the focus of what we're doing. They're dealing with real problems in the middle of a war. And so, as Sonequa was saying, I think Roddenberry's greatest contribution to race relations is that he never addressed it. It just was. And that's exactly what we're planning on doing.
Thank you.
Ms. Martin Green, congratulations.
Oh, I can't believe I didn't run out of memory.
Well, that's it, folks. Panel's a wrap. It was good, and it was history. Hey, so what did you think?
I cannot wait. I hadn't actually known. I've been so busy. I didn't actually know we were having an openly gay character. So I am so excited because I love my boys.
Straight ones too?
Depends.
See, I'm still in a hole, so I'm staying here.
Might as well just keep digging.
Hey, yeah. So what you think of the panel?
I thought it was great. I wish I'd gotten to ask my question.
They're prejudiced against our front people.
The front row did not get any
no,
love.
Front row got no love at all.
No love.
No.
But I really wanted to ask Frain about the fact that he's playing Sarek, and Sarek's character was in an interspecies relationship, not just racial.
Right.
And that they never really made a big deal about that, other than the fact that Spock had to deal with being a mixed race child. And at the time, that was a huge thing.
Which begs the question, though. How much is of this? And can I get you guys together? Because I want, that'd be great. How much, how much of this, I'll phrase this a different way. To me,
why don't you just keep digging the hole?
Well, I love it. I dig deep holes, like skyscraper holes. But anyway, I love.
It is wow.
But here's the thing, okay? But seriously, isn't the hardest thing to actually imitate someone else's emotions and intent when they created this? And what I mean by that is this. You were talking about interspecies relationships and Roddenberry, but that was in him. But it's not necessarily in their heads, except to feel compelled to copy it, and they may not even be aware of it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think...
Does that make sense?
I think I'm a comic nerd, so I've confronted this a lot in that, look, I don't know what it's like to be bitten by a radioactive spider. I don't know what it's like to lose a parent violently at a young age. But I know what it's like to feel alone. And I think all humans, regardless of why it is, regardless of race, regardless of gender, all humans feel alone. And all of this is a way to narrate, to talk about feeling alone in a way so we don't feel like...
Yeah.
And I think I'm a strong believer in that
profound.
you can understand the way in which a person feels alone by what their fandom is.
Oh, that's
Whoa, expand on that. What do you mean? Like,
So the people who are major Superman fans are generally not X-Men fans, who are generally not Spider-Man fans.
yeah,
All
true.
of these talk about the same thing in a slightly different language, and you can learn a lot about a person, about how they feel alone in the world and how they feel the world should be and what they feel their role is in the world.
Like I've been a
based
fan of Woman since I was 6 years old. Think about that, 6.
Yeah.
6. So
See,
yeah.
I love the Incredible Hulk. I always felt because I always felt, you know, David Banner walk, because I watched the show with Bill Bixby, and I was
High five.
yeah, baby.
High five.
But I would watch him, and I would always feel sad and bad for him, and I always rooted for David Banner and always wanted him to find his place, because I always felt like the outsider in where I grew up, and that's why I always moved towards Hulk. You know, like he was the misunderstood monster. That's why I love horror movies. That's why Frankenstein, you know, that was really what that was, you know, with a little bit of Jekyll and Hyde thrown in.
Is there some of that do you guys see Wonder Woman? I've seen it twice, yeah. At the end, there was some of that. I thought, why am I crying? Because I felt like she was alone. She lost her love, and she was going out there in the world not understood at all.
Well, and
right?
she was the only one like her.
Yeah, that's what got me. Yeah. It's
even in her own, even on Theramascara, she, if I butchered the pronunciation of that.
Yeah, you did fine. Theramascara.
Theramascara.
Yeah.
She was still unique. Even her mother knew that. That's why she protected her and never told her the truth of what she was. So,
And to me, this new Wonder Woman incarnation felt very X-Men. I grew up, my fandom was X-Men because I was different. I didn't fully know why. I knew I couldn't change why I was different, and I couldn't fit in no matter what I did. People just didn't like me because I was an odd kid. I mean, look at me now. And
I can't imagine someone not liking you. I'm just being honest.
I'm a big personality, guys. And I even though I knew the world didn't like me, I knew I had to do the right thing by the world. And Wonder Woman, I felt this movie was a very X-Men movie. Even though it was Wonder Woman in DC, it was very in that you have to do the right thing for the world, even if the world doesn't understand it, doesn't appreciate it, and won't necessarily think of you as a hero.
Yep.
It's a thankless job, but somebody has to do it.
Yeah. Well, I think we're all in the right place. So I'm going to give her a group hug, because this is like, this has been great. Oh, this is a great hole to be in, folks. Thank you all. This is great. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all.
Happy Comic-Con.
Happy Comic-Con, yeah.
Go Comic-Con.